Good day guys, my name is Ben and welcome to my channel. For the regulars out there, you might know that I did a video about the Game Boy console that I made out of Raspberry Pi. This is really a quick update on what I ended up changing to make this project a final project. So first of all, I removed the original battery that I used. This is a ZTE phone battery that I was going to use, but it was sticking out a little bit. And with the Raspberry Pi 3, as you can see here, popping out a little bit as well, I couldn't actually fit this battery safely. So I ended up picking a 1800 mAh LiPo battery from AliExpress. Actually a whole bunch of them, 10 of them. And the beauty about this battery is that this is really small, about 40 millimeters wide and about 50 millimeters tall and about 6 millimeters thick. So you can potentially use two, which is what I've done here, using two batteries instead of one. And it fits in nicely, and it's a nice snug fit with the cover as well. So that's one of the changes that I made to the Game Boy, if you want to call it a Game Boy Zero. The second change I made was because the Raspberry Pi 3 was sticking out where the cartridge slot is, so I 3D printed this Game Boy cartridge. There was one original design available on the Thingiverse, and I took that and remixed it a little bit, changed it for my liking, with the Raspberry Pi 3 inside taking up the width of the cartridge. I couldn't have the insert bars that goes in, so I made it a little bit wider, so I was able to stick it on the case itself. Doesn't look too bad. I think the print came out nice as well. I made this slot for easy access to the micro SD card. I still haven't figured out how to put a sliding switch instead of a button with the power supply that I'm using, so I kept that. I added a USB, a female USB port, so I can plug in an external keyboard or a extra controller or something like that. And I also screwed down the micro USB. The hot glue that I applied wasn't enough, and it used to push the micro USB slot down, so I couldn't. So after a few attempts of doing it, charging, this was basically completely loose and it was completely pushed inside. So now I've sort of screwed it down to the case, so it's nice and steady. The other thing I did was change the buttons a little bit. I ended up not using the original Game Boy buttons at all. I used buttons from an SNES controller, which I thought it worked slightly better, and they were slightly more responsive as well when used in the case. Now, without further ado, let's start it up. Works perfectly. I'm really enjoying it. I have spent quite a lot of time playing over the last few days, and it's been perfect. I really like it. So it's booting up. I changed the image for the boot up. Yeah, and we have we'll quickly scroll through. We have arcade, Atari 2600, Atari 7800, Atari Lynx, Game Gear, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Sega Master System, Sega Mega Drive, Neo Geo, Nintendo Entertainment System, Neo Geo Pocket and Neo Geo Pocket Color, both in the same thing, PC Engine, Sega 32X, Super Nintendo, and we're back to arcade again. So I added a few handheld consoles in here because they're perfect to play on this screen. This is a nice little sort of low res screen. I really like it. Next up, I'm gonna fix up these black borders around it. It's just the issue to do with the overscan. It should be nice and easy to fix. And the final thing that I'm gonna do with this is just try and set the frame buffers for the resolution so the fonts are a little bit clear. I've used the Game Boy Zero theme, which is a lot better. So if you go, for example, inside Atari Lynx, you'll see those fonts are bigger, so nice and clear to view on a very low res screen. The theme is called Game Boy 035 and Game Boy 035 Dark. Either one of those is great. I'm using the Game Boy 035 theme, available straight on the RetroPie config menu. So if you go into the RetroPie config menu and RetroPie setup, you should be able to find it in there. Yeah, so apart from that, this is working great. Let's start up a Atari Lynx game that I want to do. Check really quickly. We're going into the Atari Lynx and we're gonna play Blue Lighting. Now I've recently purchased Atari Lynx version 2, so that should be on the mail coming out very soon. So it would be really interesting to play. Perfect emulation, perfect sound, perfect everything. Absolutely enjoyable. Alright, so we're gonna get out of here real quick and gonna try one Game Gear game. So, getting out of the menu, going into the Game Gear, and I'm gonna try. I think I wanted to play Alien Syndrome. Right, so going to Alien Syndrome, start it up. This is a fantastic game. I really like to play. Alright, we're gonna get out of this one as well and gonna try another handheld Game Boy, and I want to play Ninja Gaiden. I'm gonna jump straight to N, and I'm gonna start up Ninja Gaiden Shadow. Buttons are super responsive, no delay at all. Games like this, it's really important to have super good controls, otherwise you lose the absolutely perfect controls. Right, now we're gonna try a game from Game Boy Advance, and I'm gonna play Astro Boy. Gonna skip through this a little bit. Yeah, so Raspberry Pi 3 has no problems emulating Game Boy Advance. Absolutely fine. Yeah, perfect. Alright, now I'm gonna get out of real quick. Game Boy Color should be fine as well. Try one game in Sega Mega Drive, because Master System I know it's super fine. And I'm gonna try my favorite game of all time, Brian Lara Cricket 96, as in my favorite sports game of all time. And I'm gonna pick Australia quick. Take some time sort of getting into it. I pick England. England against Australia, classic. Yep, the good thing about the computer is that even if they win the toss, they always pick fielding, so you gotta bat first, which is nice. Single there. Try to slog it. See how far we can go. And it's a 6. Alright. Alright, let's leave on a nicer note. Alright. Now we're gonna try Neo Geo. And I'm not too familiar with Neo Geo games. Let's try something fast-paced, maybe a Fatal Fury. I'm not very good at fighting games, as you can tell. Right, but it seems like it's working perfectly. Nintendo works perfectly. Neo Geo Pocket Color. A quick game of cool borders. Suck at this game. Anyway, it works perfectly. Maybe try a tennis game or something. Pocket tennis color. Let's try color. Works fine, no problems at all. PC Engine works nicely as well. 32X, gonna try one game, and that is Afterburner. I went too far. Right, and Afterburner. So that works perfectly, no problems at all. Gonna get out of that. Super Nintendo works really well. I think I tried the Aladdin game in the first video. Maybe we can play some Contra, which is fast paced, lots of sprites, lots of colors, lots of bullets. Would be interesting to see how well that works. Yeah, I see no problems at all. Now, if I can pause real quick here, this game really sucked in the retro game handheld that I reviewed. Raspberry Pi 3 doesn't have any problem at all running this game. Absolutely perfect. Try something from the arcades. Give it a try 64th Street. So let's get out of here quick. Raspberry Pi doesn't have any problem sort of running the 2D games or 2.5D in some instances. It struggles with the 3D arcade games, but I don't intend to play it on the Raspberry Pi anyway. I think that's about it. I think we're back to links. The good thing about Raspberry Pi 3 is that it can handle Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance, all the arcade 2D games really well. So the emulation is pretty good and the community is very strong, so you get frequent updates with the emulators. I think I mentioned in my previous videos that I'll build a brand new one out of this yellow shell that I have, and I'll do a step-by-step tutorial on it, but I just wanted to get my device sort of 100%. Yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. If you want to, please subscribe to my channel. This will help me a lot. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.